Fast X is a non-stop thrill ride that'll leave you asking if they just made the ride at Universal into a film. If you enjoyed most of the franchise, you're gonna enjoy this all the same. It has some of the most absurd action scenes in the franchise and some of the craziest deliveries of dialogue I've ever seen in a film. Welcome back to Strictly Casual. My name is Ryder, and today I'm gonna be giving my non-spoiler thoughts on Fast X. I was able to see an early screening, and I want to let you know if you should consider seeing the film in theaters yourself. Now, starting off with the big stuff, we gotta get into it. These guys have already been to space. Now, I used to joke as a kid, that's all I wanted, and I wanted to see it. And as soon as I got it, I was shocked, but I was fulfilled. So the question is, what comes next? Now, they take a step back in this film, and at times, it reminds me of all the great films that do the street racing, kind of like in Tokyo Drift, Too Fast, Too Furious, and even the fourth Fast and Furious film. So when you're watching this, it almost bores you considering how far the stakes have gone and how big the action scenes have go, that when they take a step back to do street racing, you kind of just miss the, the better films that do that, and you kind of want to go back and watch those, but that's just me. Now, the film, it's silly at times. It's tense also, but it still manages to include those family vibes we all know and love, even though sometimes it can feel forced. But look, I laugh because we see brothers and sisters, grandmas, cousins, and more kind of feel awkward because of their backstories are being fueled by flashbacks. So the chemistry seems kind of off, but hey, at least we get a happy family film with some points of emotion. It is believable, but I think at times it's, if you really want to lose your suspension of disbelief, it is easy to see that these are all random actors thrown into this film together, and they're one big happy family. Now, what you should expect. They try their best to add more drama to this one, like they always have. It's never been the centerpiece of these films, though, because the action is what we come here for, and that's what I go to see these films for. They're all random interactions, and dialogue exchange is kind of played to make you get excited and be like, oh, this character is paired up with this guy, and this girl's partnered with this person, and so it makes you like, oh, you should. It's kind of forcefully saying you should be excited for this. And I think that's the only thing that got me going was when a car jumped off a dam, like we've seen in the trailers. It really isn't those interactions like we see in the film. I saw some other reviews talking about this film and being the series peak, and honestly, I think the high of this franchise was with 7. I'm in that boat. But with the addition of a character like the villain like Jason Momoa is playing, I think everyone's gonna enjoy him. I think he got a little too silly at times for me. I couldn't really figure out what he was trying to be, but I've seen some describe him online as Heath Ledger's Joker. Now, I know that may sound surprising. He's all over the place, though, and he really lacks empathy, kind of like the Joker did. He's this real evil guy, kind of bombastic and clairvoyant, I guess you could say, but considering we've gotten too many one-note villains, I guess, kind of like Cypher and the Owen brother, the Shaw brothers, they're very straight, like, I'm gonna be evil, I'm gonna be quiet, I'm gonna be methodical. This is kind of a step up, and this is kind of it makes it fresh for the series, considering he's more outgoing and just something different, just fresh as a villain, right? I do think that if we're comparing trilogies, though, it's definitely a step up from 8 and 9. We're in for an event for this whole trilogy, that's for sure. I do think like 5, 6, and 7 was the high, and then when it goes to 8 and 9, it's like, I know there were some gripes with that one, but this is definitely the better of 8 and 9. This film is part of a trilogy. I did say trilogy coming up. That was revealed by Vin Diesel. Does it bother me, and should it bother you? No, these movies are fun, popcorn flicks, I think. I don't think you won't ever get bored, especially if you love going in on the family vibes and you enjoy Corona before watching the film. It's going to be that much fun. This film is simultaneously both self-aware of its wackiness and ignorant to what it's trying to be. It tries too hard at times, but I enjoy when it poked fun at itself more than when it got too serious. I think there's some great moments like that, and it makes for a great viewing experience. Characters old and new get little vignettes and moments to shine. They get their own action set piece. They get their own bit of dialogue. And Momoa, maybe I've seen he's the glue that holds it all together. I would argue and say Dom, but Dom has been kind of the same in every movie he's been, kind of caring about his family and what his motivations are. I think Momoa's motivations are what kind of drive the entire story, and it makes for the entire family trying to catch up to him rather than the other way around. There are some new characters, of course. We've seen them in the trailer, Brie Larson and some others that I won't mention just for spoilers. They get bigger roles, some bigger than others, and I think their addition can be a little bit distracting with them being so recognizable, but it's all fun. Their stories have layers to them. They have unique motivations. Since they are new characters, though, I do think the original cast doesn't get to shine as much because there's so many people. There's so many people in this film that you only get a certain amount of time with each character. There's new bad guys, new good guys, new family members. It's a lot. But you know, if you do want to get more of the family like Tej and Roman and those moments with Han, you got 9 other movies you can see, you know, with great moments of those people. This film is mainly about Dom. He's driving the story, who he interacts with and who he pushes the story forward, along with Jason Momoa and what he does with his motivations. There's a cliffhanger in this film that'll leave you with the jaw on the floor, like a lot of moments in this film. And look, you're going to have questions, but you got to promise me, just ignore them. Don't ask any questions, all right? Just have fun. Don't worry about it, okay? That's not, you're going to stress yourself out too much if you start asking questions about, is that possible? Did that person survive? Did this person do that? No spoilers, just throwing out random questions that you could have. Now, it's hard to critique this film like I've, you know, just previously done, since, look, I don't take this film too seriously. There were parts that kind of disinterested me because of my passion of the franchise and my interest of rewatching all the past ones so many times. It's hard to, you know, remake what you've already done. You've already done so many great things. How much farther can you go before it gets too ridiculous and you become super soldiers, even though Dom has already essentially become a super soldier at this point and defined the laws of gravity, God, and man. But if you want those big reveal moments and shockers we've loved from the previous films, you know, we know what we're talking about, those cliffhangers and those twists and turns, you will be satisfied. They deliver. They for sure deliver. Okay, this trilogy as a whole is gonna be a wild time in the movies. I already know. We're setting up for a good little arc here. I think we're gonna look back at these films and remember some good times with the family. So just stay tuned, get excited. There you have it. That's my review. Let me know if you enjoyed it. Leave a like if you did. And look, there's been a lot of set pieces. Comment down below an idea for a new set piece. We've been to space. We've flown off a plane. We've driven off a plane, I should say. What's a set piece that you would want to see in a future Fast and Furious film? What is it, X Part 2 and Fast X Part 3? Or if they do 11 and 12, who knows what they'll name it. But again, enjoy the film. I hope you have a good time with it. Thanks for watching, guys. I've been Ryder, and we'll see you in the next one.